How you doing, everyone? Welcome back. As you can see, I've got Eva with me right here. I don't know just exactly what prompted her to come up here, but that's all right. Um, Actually, Eva was the first one of the cats that you met if you've seen all of my videos. Uh, so, anyway, yeah, this little girl, she's not gonna, nope, yep, she's not gonna give up on the pets, here it looks like. So, anyway, what I actually came here to talk about in this video had nothing to do with her. She just kind of interrupted me, and I'm not going to... Okay, let's get down to business here. I don't normally talk about, like governor's races, particularly in states where I don't live. But have you seen what's going on with the governor of, well, actually he's the lieutenant governor of North Carolina, who is running for governor. She's back again. Anyway, this guy, I mean, as it is, he has said some just off-the-rails, unhinged, outrageous, crazy stuff. Some people just need to be killed, and, he's said that he'd like to go back to a time when women couldn't vote. As a black man, he liked, or he would go back to the pre-civil rights era. And now there are some allegations out there. I'm not sure if this has been proven or not, but I don't know. I'm seeing different sources on this saying different things. Some are saying it definitely happened. Some are saying that it was alleged. So I'm going to say that it's alleged because I don't know 100% for sure. But he has supposedly gone on to a porn site, and apparently this is something that happened years ago, but it's just now being brought to light. Now keep in mind, he is absolutely opposed to that industry, and well, so am I, but for completely different reasons. But yeah, he's on a porn site. And apparently he was bragging about some interest that he had in 14-year-old girls, and he has referred to himself as a black Nazi, and he has also said that he likes trans porn. Now keep in mind, this same guy, I mean, he is very anti-trans, at least publicly. I mean, he says all kinds of nasty things about not just trans, but the entire LGBTQ community, right? He doesn't like gay people, he doesn't like trans people, he doesn't like drag queens, he doesn't like, this or that or the other. And he had apparently also said that he'd like to go back to, he would like to once again make slavery legal. Hold on a second, dude. Hold on. Dude, you're black, right? Why would you want slavery? You live in North Carolina, right? Okay? Now, I've got nothing against North Carolina. It's a great place. I've been there. I was actually stationed there when I was in the Army. I love North Carolina. But you do realize that 200 years ago, North Carolina, actually just 160 years ago, don't even have to go back the full 200, 160 years ago, you see that I'm wearing my Gettysburg hat, 160 years ago, North Carolina was one of the states that seceded from the United States because they wanted to maintain the institution of slavery. Okay? Now, I get it. I mean, this is a long time later. North Carolina's a different place now. But you're in a place where that actually did happen, and you would make that legal again? You also realize that you look like the people who were enslaved in the state where you now want to be the governor, right? I don't know, Mark. Something doesn't seem right. Mark Robinson, by the way, is the guy's name, in case I didn't say that. Mark, you might want to check yourself, man. I'm not so sure you know what you're talking about. And this guy, he says he wants to talk about the real issues, now that this is all coming to light. But I've never heard the guy talk about any real issues. I mean, keep in mind, like I said, I'm also not in North Carolina. Haven't been following this too closely. I know a little bit about the guy. I know enough to know who he is and some of the crazy things that he has said. But, I don't generally follow governor's races all that close. Unless it's right here in Iowa. Mainly because I just don't have as much of a vested interest in those. But, Lieutenant Governor, you might want to pick up a book. Preferably a history book. Read it. Actually, you know what? Yeah, pick up an American history book. And I'll tell you what, you don't even have to read the whole thing. Pick up the book, and once you get past, the Revolution, and, let's start getting into, like, the 1830s, 40s, 50s, right? Get into that. Now, of course, we know slavery was around long before then, but 1830s, 40s, and 50s, right? That's when we're really starting to see the tensions heat up. And when the 1860s come along, the country just explodes into civil war, right? As you well know. And, maybe the idea of going back to slavery is not such a good idea there, Mark. Especially when you could very well be enslaved yourself. And you are in a state where slavery was legal. So it would be, what, legal again in North Carolina? Or, let me guess, you would somehow be exempt, right? You would be exempt? Or, you know what? Maybe it wouldn't be race-based slavery like it was. Maybe you just want, all those peasants down there, right? All those people that we like to kick down at and call them the cause of all our problems. I tell you what, Mark, you, sir, are a good example of why we need to eradicate this entire MAGA movement. Because, this guy, keep in mind, excuse me, this guy was endorsed in the primary by Donald Trump. Donald Trump has actually called him Martin Luther King on steroids. He called him better than Martin Luther King. Really? Would Martin Luther King want to revert back to slavery? Would Martin Luther King call himself a black Nazi? Would Martin Luther King be a hateful bigot? Would Martin Luther King shill for a guy like Donald Trump? Of course not. Of course not. And for those of you who want to argue that Martin Luther King was a Republican, okay. Sure, I haven't actually fact-checked that. I'm sure you're probably right. But the Republican Party of that time was very different from the Republican Party of today. And if you don't believe that, again, I will encourage you, just like I encouraged Mr. Robinson, pick up a book, a history book, an American history book. Read it. You'll find that today's Republicans are not the Republicans of then. And the Democrats of then are not today's Democrats. Okay? Democrats may have been the party of the KKK, and, that the Democrats may have been the party that wanted to keep slavery in place and keep segregation in place. Sure. That's absolutely true. And the Republicans may have been the party that fought against that. Again, absolutely true. But unless you're going to tell me that the entire South just, because that's the thing. They want to imply that Democrats have always been liberal, Republicans have always been conservatives. Okay, so you're telling me that the entire South changed their entire ideology? And the entire North changed all of their ideology? I don't know. Either that or everybody from the South moved to the North and everybody from the North moved to the South. I don't know. I don't know. You tell me. You tell me what's more possible. What's more plausible? People changed ideologies, or people changed parties changed ideologies over time, or an entire segment of the population, like the entire conservative, every conservative in the South, just changed or every liberal in the South just suddenly became conservative so they could be Republicans. And that every conservative up north all became liberal Democrats. Come on. You know better. Anyway, I'll see you next time.